Okay, I'm going to read another GQ article. Here's one on The Weeknd. The Weeknd is the king of sex pop. Here's something weird about The Weeknd. So, for a long time, The Weeknd didn't want anyone to know who he was. When people first became aware of him in 2011, after he released the three epic mixtapes that would become his first album, Trilogy, no one knew what he looked like or what his real name was. His real name is Abel Tesfaye, by the way. People didn't even know if The Weeknd was a person or a group. He was just this voice, a sweet, unicky sounding, unicky voice trained in the sacred arts of Michael Jacksonism that had been completely disembodied from the human who possessed it. Okay, so on the one hand, Abel didn't want people to even look at him, and on the other hand, The Weeknd was singing about the dirtiest, most vulnerable things, begging us not to only know the most intimate details of his most intimate moments, but to sing along with them. It's as if he were the Emily Dixon of post R. Kelly deviant sex R&B singers. Just sitting there in his music studio, dreaming up ways to make us look at him and dreaming up ways to disappear all at the same time. On a Monday night in early December, Abel was sitting on an Arian chair in the Conway Recording Studios in Los Angeles. I'm going to say he looks boyish, and you're going to think, yeah, gotcha, like Eddie Redmayne looks boyish, or a young Hilary Swank. But he's boyish. He could easily be a freshman in college. His face is pleasing and kind, but it's almost forgettable, which isn't what I expected. The only other time I've seen Abel Tesfaye in person was when I went to a concert at the Phillips Arena in Atlanta, Georgia, about a year ago. It was the tour in support of Beauty Behind the Madness, which was spiritually the album of 2015, and it announced the arrival of The Weeknd as a bona fide pop sensation. At the Phillips, he was a fearsome presence, towering over us on this black scaffolding, black backlit in a military tunic, and that signature battle hair, belting out a beautiful drug arias to mostly women of all ages, stalking the carpets as if he were starring in a moody German production of Macbeth. But in this recording studio, sitting across from Abel in his plain black baseball jacket, plain black long sleeve tee, plain black pants, plain black shoes, I detect no hint of that sex Macbeth. Abel doesn't need to take up more space than you do in the room. He doesn't need to grate and powerful Oz you like the guy, like I bet a guy like Kanye West would. Mm. Part of it is his hair. Gone is that freeform antlery dread sculpture that a Rolling Stone writer once described beautifully as a double mullet. Party in the front, party in the back. But that always looked to me like a, I don't know, Sylvian thing. Like a tree that had been turned into a man by gods, but not completely. And now, in place of the tree person hair, is just hair. Just normal hair. You once said, I remind Abel that you'd never cut your hair, because then you just look like everybody else. I said that, Abel admits, but I couldn't walk around without seeing the fucking Weeknd hair. That's what I called it. New artists that have been around forever. I'm not going to say the names, but they were growing the fucking hair.